That's awesome. Brian, when you were you sitting right now and looking at this journey and how much you've done, which has been really incredible, and you think about where are you now, can you speak? I'll ask you about a few different areas. One of them, which is super important for men that may be coming to the community, having tremendous challenges with their partners in their relationship. Maybe they're on the verge of divorcing. Maybe they're talking about separation. Maybe they're actively and actually separated, but with the intention of somehow working it out and so on. Can you speak to where are you now because of this work as it pertains to your woman and how your relationship is as you look back? And obviously we get to celebrate it now because it's been exponentially different.
Yeah. In terms of my personal relationship, I don't want to say night and day because it was good before this, but there was definitely problems. It was getting rocky. I guess that's the best way to put it. We hadn't got to the point where we were thinking about ending it. Well, hopefully, I wasn't. She might have been, but it's completely changed. I mean, she is divorced also. We had a really strong connection when we met and kind of developed that for a little while. It's hard to put into words. We don't. I know this sounds crazy. It always drove me nuts when people are like, "Oh, we don't fight." That's not. But we don't fight. We have disagreements, and I think that's very different. Like we get into it prior to this, it would be something where it would sometimes blow up. Sometimes it would go on for a couple of days, and just the silent treatment. And I think everybody on this call knows where I'm going with that. It's not that anymore. It's really open communication. I know I'm better equipped at understanding what comes up in me or what I feel immediately when these things start, and I'm able to deal with it and not let that become part of the argument. The stuff that it's what's going on in the present is what the argument's about. And they're so few and far between. Honestly, it's not a thing anymore. It really isn't. Yeah, I mean, we have a long distance thing, so there's things that come up with that a lot. But all of that is gone. Not gone, but it's able to be dealt with for me. And because of that, I think she feels more comfortable and has been way more responsive, way more unguarded. It's honestly, I wake up it used to be, and I think you made this analogy, Mario, and I think it's ideal. You're in a fire. There's stuff all around you. I can see 2 feet in front of my face. And for me, that was what it was like when I was going through my divorce, and how much that kind of bled over even after it. When I would have a fight with her, or something went wrong with my kids or my parents or work, and I was just in that moment. And now with this, I'm able to put the fire out and kind of see the rest of the place. So that's kind of the best way to put it. I'm in a good place. It's not all. I don't want it to sound warm or fluffy, but you have the ability to even take what would normally cause me to spiral. You're not going to get me off center. You're just not. You might for a second. I'll feel that, but I know how to come right back on center. And it really has made challenges easier to navigate, and the good, great.
Brian, one of the things that men that come into our community, or men who may be looking at our materials and our videos and so on, that have in their minds is the aspect of sex has really kind of died. The level of connection and intimacy has been wilting away. They really feel as though The woman is in one planet, he's in another planet. He doesn't really understand what the hell she wants, because no matter what he does, it somehow lands for him as though it's not good enough. And for men, not that it isn't for women, it's really important to have sex, to have a healthy sexual relationships and intimacy. It's a big deal for us, right? Especially guys who are go-getters, guys who are just out there leading other people like you are. And then you come into this vulnerable space, you know, with your woman, where the last thing you want to do is just want to have sex and not be able to have it because something just is off and she's turned off, or whatever the case may be. It's just not happening. And a lot of men are seeking support with that, or many others don't even know how to actually start to seek support with that. Can you actually speak to, in your experience, when you do this work, how things start to land for the other side, and how, and this is not unique to you, is also happens to other men, but I want them to hear from you. What starts to happen with a woman that in the beginning, it's like, was that just like a one-off? And then as time goes on, it's like, no, it's like spot on every single time these things are happening.
Yeah. And I guess the best way I can explain it, or try to give a little bit of a explanation, I guess that is best word. After you kind of start to figure out what's going on with you, you're able to learn to, again, be more aware of what your person needs. And it's, you know, you'll be amazed at, like, the way I would put it is, when I came to Mara, we were probably together almost a year and a half, 2 years. So it was a little bit of time, but within almost in the first couple of sessions after that, just the way I was speaking to her and the way that, you know, we were handling challenges that came up between us, she kind of looked at me when we were in the kitchen. She kind of looked at me like, "Who are you? You know, like, what's going on?" And I was like, "I don't know what you mean." And we kept talking, and it was, you know, we were not in that place where it would, you know, as I said, where it was going completely sideways. But I have been in that place before. What I will tell you is, since that connection, because you really do, you start connecting at a way deeper level. I know that. I know that some of you right now are probably rolling your eyes. I get it. I probably would have been too 8 months ago. But yeah, it's like that first couple of weeks in a relationship, guys. It really is. It's but with more depth. Not the you know, I'm not gonna show too much right now, because, you know, I'm not sure if this girl even likes me. You know, so it's that, imagine that feeling with the connection of time and experience and everything else. It's just easy. I guess that's Maury, you've heard me say that a million times. It just gets easy. Work gets easy. You know, life gets easy. You're and I have been in that hole. Believe me, I've been in that foxhole. I know. I have experience what some of you are maybe going through, especially with the ending of a relationship. It's brutal, and we're just not. We don't. A lot of us, especially, you know, the crazy that makes us good is the crazy that also destroys us, and this helps with that, and it really helps on the partner's side to see that vulnerability, that, you know, hey, this guy, wait a minute, like, I can be myself with this guy. I can kind of let my guard down a little bit, you know, like, and that's, you know, definitely scary in the beginning, because you don't know what's coming. But now I'm a person who, the person I'm with, if something good happens, I want to call her and tell her, right? There were times where she's very super independent, amazingly independent, and that was just not a thing, like, you know. And now it's the other way around. She's come to me, So, and it's been a really, really good thing. There's hope. There's absolutely hope, but you have to, if you want to save it, you got to fix this first. And that's what this, not fix, you have to learn how to use this first. That's better way to put it.
Ryan, some people, they come into the community with one particular goal. The goal may be that they want to have more sex. The goal may be that they want to save their relationship. The goal may be they may want to try to understand what's going on so that things get better. But one of the huge byproducts, particularly for the successful man who is looking at this information, is not understanding the power of this work to actually completely revamp their professional life. And for somebody like you who deals with big numbers, you've had some incredible experiences that have saved your company millions of dollars, and in some cases has actually allowed to create incredible deals for the company in projects that were kind of floating, and you've been able to bring this work. So I want you to, I'd like to invite you to speak to the professional guy who's looking at this, who's being consumed perhaps by some of these challenges they're having in their relationship, and how this is going to completely change their financial life, the business life, as a huge byproduct of it that they may not even be aware that is completely sucking the life away from the business. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize, I had no awareness of how, I mentioned the word angry I was prior, and how that manifested itself, and how short I was with people in business, and how manipulative I was trying to be. Honestly, the biggest changes when I started doing this program came in the business world. Honestly, first, it really did. That was where, because I started using some of the tools that I learned in contentious situations where normally, we all know how to do conflict resolution. We all know, negotiation techniques. We know all that, right? That's trainable, and experience helps. But coming at it from a way where you use your newfound ability to be aware and feel, and coming at it that way, and coming at it with nonviolent communication, things like that, which sounds like a buzzword, but it's not. You're able to diffuse situations quickly. I said this to Mario. I'm a golfer, and one of my favorite movies is Bagger Vance, where they show kind of that line when he's making a putt. And I said to him, "That's kind of how I feel. Like I walk into a meeting now, and I'm like, okay, I know how this is going to go. I know how this is going to go. I'm going to stay focused. We're going to get from A to B, and we're going to have to use C, D, and E, but we're going to get there." And it's made me a way better negotiator, way better. Made me a way better, president. It's made me a better leader. There's no doubt about it. You start to be, I don't think anybody would call me empathetic 8 months ago, but you are. And that doesn't mean that you're soft, like we've said before. And I'm still the same. I can still be the same bear if I need to be, but that's not level A. That's not first option. First option is, okay, let's everybody let's figure out what we need here and develop a win-win situation. It's made the job easier. It really has. Less complicated. It's made the interpersonal reactions between clients, between employees, it's just made it different. And I've had a couple of really interesting experiences with people that have worked with me for a while, just kind of looking at me after a meeting, after we've closed something, that they didn't think there was any chance that this thing could go well. And as they walked out, one of my senior regional guys looked at me and goes, "Boss, I don't know what that was, but keep doing it." And it was just, it was comical. I actually chuckled to myself, but you really do, because this work, while not difficult, is unbelievably powerful. There's no doubt about it. I've done the CARIS negotiations, the other stuff for business, and yeah, great, sure, but nothing has been more beneficial for me than getting myself centered, and then being able to just communicate clearly with empathy and feeling into situations. It's made me way better. And on a financial scale, that, you know, if you told me we would be where we are in 3 to 6 months, 8 months ago, no way. But it just manifests on top of itself. There's no other way to put it.
Brian, it's hard for people to believe that doing inner work, emotional work, however they see it out there, could actually make you money. And you know better because you've experienced it, not just once again, one off, but every single week. Can you speak to the guy who is a successful financial guy, business guy, who clearly is going through some of the things that you can so powerfully and openly speak about now, to let them know, let me tell you how this will make you money? And you speak to that, because that guy is probably thinking, this is BS.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, it's not some magical, we're not selling day trading, like I think what it is you come in, you're bringing your whole self to that process. When I was before this, I was probably only running on 50 to 75% of what I could bring to the table. So, I was successful. It was great. But now I'm becoming 100%, and let's see what we can do. So that's your ROI. It's you were walking into that, and I was walking into that business meeting with 50% of my abilities, 75% of my abilities. That's it. I didn't have the full toolkit. I didn't. Plus, I was, like that smoke-filled room. I could see this way. There was nothing to the left or right. And whether you believe it or not, and believe me, I would be the person that would sit on the other end of this thing, sitting there going, I don't let emotions bother me. I don't let that happen. When I'm negotiating, when I'm trying to close a deal, or with people, help them close a deal, it's all about the deal. Not true. And I can see it now. I was not there. I was still winning. We were still winning. We were still successful. But it was either, we didn't win at the right margin. We had to give something else in, or we took advantage of somebody, whatever. We got the job, but we didn't get a client, because it was just, I was not walking into that meeting completely present, completely focused, and balanced. And can I quantify it? I can tell you that this year we will do probably 1.5x of revenue that we did last year. Now, is that because of this completely? No, but it's definitely a piece of that. There's no doubt about it. Now, I'm a better person, as I said. I'm a better father, a better companion, and I am a better business leader because of this.
Thank you. Moving on to another area here, as anybody's listening to you right now, they may be wondering, is this really for me? And that's something that, because when we see other people succeed greatly at something, it's like, well, that's because Brian is he's just a, pretty amazing business leader, and maybe that's why he's just crushing it, or he just has this thing. But we actually know that that's not the case, because this is all really reproducible. So anybody watching this right now, who would you say that you would recommend this to?
I think this program can help a lot of different people. I think for me, anybody who is got to a point where, as I said before, You feel like you're on the hamster wheel. You feel like, man, it just doesn't get easier. Like this is the same stuff over and over and over again. I think this course is definitely meant for drivers, for alphas, however you want to call it. There's no doubt about it, because you definitely have to be able to own it. You know, like you have to be able to do the not hard work, but you have to be able to do the work, and you have to be self motivated, and you have to be honestly. I think for all of us in this community, you're I'm sure everybody's successful, but you're successful because you have that. We may not like it, but you have that drive to be better, and you have that drive that there's got to be a better way than this, a better mousetrap. You know, we've all heard that before. That's the type of person that's going to benefit for this. You know, the type that is tired of that, being tired, tired of that. You know, feeling like it's just the same thing over and over again. You know, and being frustrated that why am I so successful in my life in one part of it, but I can't translate that in the others. What you know, you're constantly looking at, you know, if you're running a business, you're constantly looking at metrics going, wait a minute, why is this person doing better than this person? How do we get a performance plan to make them better? You know, things that we do innately when we're looking at our businesses or our jobs. We don't do that for ourselves. And I think that's the person who benefits from this. The person that, whether we want to admit it or not, knows there's something there, knows it, can feel it. You know, when you're sitting there by yourself and you're quiet and that little nagging voice is in your ear, that's the person. Listen to the nagging voice. And, you know, as I said, I was talking to somebody about this program the other day, and I kind of finished with it and said, what do you got to lose? You know, what do you have to lose? A little bit of time? Okay. But what if it works? That's kind of the way I would put it. Yeah, it's, guys, you know, I wish I found this sooner. I do. I wish I found it sooner. I think it would have helped me to deal with the divorce better, so that maybe I wouldn't have had some of the challenges I'm working through with, you know, my son and even my ex. You know, like I wish I was able to be aware of the issues there, because I wasn't. I was angry. I wasn't the person I am now. Let's put it that way. It would have made life easier to have started this journey sooner, but I started it, and there's no way I would go back.